The Halloween party invitation said costumes were mandatory. I told everyone I was going as a generic zombie. Instead, I spent 3 hours transforming into Erica. My name is Andrew Clark and I'm 24 years old. Halloween was supposed to be my one night to cross-dress in public without anyone knowing it was real. One night where I could hide in plain sight as just another guy in a funny costume. Except it stopped feeling like a costume about 20 minutes in. The party was at my friend Patrick's house. Same group we'd been hanging out with since college. They knew Andrew, the quiet guy who worked in IT and never dated anyone. The boring, reliable friend who showed up but never stood out. They didn't know Erica, the version of me that existed in my apartment every weekend when I locked the door and became someone else. I showed up fashionably late wearing a red dress and heels that made walking an adventure. My wig was long and dark. My makeup was better than it had any right to be after years of practice. When I knocked on Patrick's door, I was shaking. Holy shit, Andrew. Patrick stared at me. Dude, you look amazing. Like, actually amazing. How did you do that? YouTube, I said, keeping my voice normal. Not trying to sound feminine because that would make it weird. Inside the party was packed. Everyone in elaborate costumes. Zombies and vampires and movie characters. 3 other guys were also cross-dressed, but their costumes were jokes. Badly applied makeup. Ridiculous wigs. Stuffed bras that looked cartoonish. They were men playing dress-up for laughs. I was something else entirely. Andrew, you're making the rest of us look bad, said Tyler. He was wearing a dress too, but as a joke. His beard was visible under his makeup. His hairy legs stuck out from under his skirt. Maybe teach us your secrets? Just got lucky, I guess. But it wasn't luck. It was years of practice. Years of learning to walk and move and present as Erica in ways that felt natural instead of performative. The party went on and I started to relax. People complimented my costume. Asked where I bought the dress. Wanted makeup tips. Nobody questioned why I looked so much better at this than everyone else. Around midnight, Patrick's neighbor showed up. Some girl named Catherine I'd seen around but never actually met. She was dressed as a witch. Black dress. Pointed hat. The classic. She saw me across the room and her face lit up. Oh my God, finally another girl here, she said, pulling me aside. I've been surrounded by dudes in bad costumes all night. It's nice to see someone who actually put effort in. My stomach dropped. She thought I was a woman. Actually thought Erica was real. Don't tell me. Let me guess your name. You look like Sarah? No. Erica? Am I close? How did you know that? Lucky guess. I'm Catherine. I just moved in next door last month. Patrick keeps inviting me to things, but tonight's the first time I actually came. She smiled and it made my heart race. Want to get some air? It's loud in here. We went outside to Patrick's back porch. Sat on the steps and talked for an hour. Catherine told me about moving to the city for work. About being lonely in a new place where she didn't know anyone. About how hard it was to make friends as an adult. I told her about working in IT. About living alone. About feeling invisible most of the time. All true things. Just leaving out the part where I was actually a man in a dress. You're really easy to talk to, Catherine said. Most girls I meet are so competitive. So fake. You're just real. Thanks. You are too. She leaned closer and for a terrifying moment, I thought she was going to kiss me. Instead, she just touched my hand gently. Can I ask you something personal? Sure. Are you seeing anyone? Because I know we just met, but I feel like we have a connection and I'd love to get coffee sometime and get to know you better. This was the moment. The moment where I should have told her the truth. Explained that Erica wasn't real. That I was Andrew. That this whole thing was just a Halloween costume. I'd like that. I heard myself say. We exchanged numbers. Made plans for coffee on Thursday. When we said goodbye, she hugged me tight and whispered that she was really glad we met. I drove home in a panic. What had I done? How was I supposed to show up to coffee as Erica when Erica only existed on weekends in my apartment? How was I supposed to tell Catherine that the woman she'd connected with was actually a man playing pretend? On the drive home, I tried to settle my breathing, my mind drifting to a book I'd been reading called Crossdressing in the Shadows of Marriage. I'd bought it on Amazon weeks earlier, curious how other people managed the quiet split between their public lives and their hidden selves. I never expected the stories to feel so close to mine, like they were gently nudging me toward truths I wasn't ready to face. Thinking about those pages that night made everything feel sharper, heavier, and somehow a little more real. Thursday came too fast. I spent the morning trying to text Catherine and cancel, making up excuses about being sick or busy or having a family emergency. But every time I started typing, I thought about how good it felt to be seen as Erica, how natural our conversation had been, how alive I'd felt being myself instead of hiding. I showed up to the coffee shop as Erica, spent 2 hours getting ready. When Catherine walked in, she smiled like seeing me made her whole day better. "You look beautiful," she said. "So do you." We talked for 3 hours. She told me about her childhood in San Diego, about her dreams of starting her own business, about feeling like she'd never quite fit in anywhere until moving here. I told her the truth about everything except the one thing that mattered most. Told her about growing up lonely, about never feeling comfortable in my own skin, about spending years trying to figure out who I was supposed to be. "I know exactly what you mean," Catherine said. "I spent so long pretending to be someone I wasn't. It's exhausting." "How did you stop pretending?" "I decided life was too short to be anyone but myself. Even when it was scary. Even when people didn't understand." She reached across the table and took my hand. "I'm really glad I met you, Erica. You make me feel like I'm not alone anymore." Those words broke something inside me. She thought she'd found someone who understood. Someone real. Instead, she'd found another lie built on Halloween makeup and borrowed confidence. "Catherine, I need to tell you something." "What's wrong?" This was it. The moment where I came clean and watched whatever we were building fall apart. "I'm not who you think I am." She smiled gently. "Neither am I." "What do you mean?" "I mean, I've been on testosterone for 3 years. I transitioned in San Diego before moving here. Moved here specifically so I could start fresh where nobody knew me as the person I used to be." Catherine squeezed my hand tighter. "I saw you at that party, Andrew. I saw a man wearing a dress who looked more comfortable than any of the other guys there, who moved like being in women's clothes was natural instead of a joke. And I knew." My heart stopped. "You knew?" "I knew you weren't just some guy in a Halloween costume. I knew Erica was real." She smiled. "I'm transgender. I know what it looks like when someone is figuring out who they really are. The question is, do you know?" I stared at her. At this woman who'd seen through everything I'd been hiding. Who'd known all along and given me space to be Erica anyway. "I don't know what I am," I whispered. "That's okay. You don't have to know yet. You just have to be brave enough to figure it out." Catherine stood and held out her hand. "Wanna go shopping? I know a great place that sells dresses in your size. And this time you won't have to pretend it's just for Halloween." We left the coffee shop holding hands. Two people who'd found each other by accident on a night when everyone was pretending to be someone else. Except we weren't pretending anymore. Halloween had been my excuse to cross-dress without consequences. What I didn't expect was meeting someone who saw through the excuse to the truth underneath. Sometimes the best disguises are the ones that let you stop hiding.